Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, if you just believe, if you just believe, if you just believe. Listen to your heart, 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 tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, if you just believe, if you just believe.
Yes. We're back. We're live again for another stream, and we just want to come on and have a bit of a chill one tonight, a bit of a chat with you guys, see what you guys are saying. Obviously, the title is Review of Southampton, and we will talk a lot about what we thought about the Southampton game, who we thought played well, who we thought played shite. I don't think anybody played shite. But we're going to talk about it all. You can see the graphics on screen. Let us know your thoughts on player ratings and all that. And listen, I hope all of you are doing good. There's about 10 people in the building with us right now. Make sure you've all smashed the like button. You know the drill, people. You know what happens here. Smash the like button. Helps the channel grow. Helps us get our name out there. Helps the 1894 community do its thing. This beautiful community we have growing right now. Get it out there. Help it grow. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. Imagine that. Little old 1894 4K. Madness. Let's see who we have in the building right now. We've got Alec in the building here. City in second gear, unbeaten. If we beat Arsenal, Liverpool, and Spud, I assume you mean Spurs, which we will, then title will be ours. There's actually a good conversation to have about that because, well, just in short, the second half of the season, all the big fixtures we have, like the typical big six fixtures, bar Man United in January, are all pretty well at home. They're mainly home games. Like after Christmas, we'll have, or actually no, it's changed now because the Spurs game got changed and the Arsenal game got changed as well. So disregard what I'm saying. But yeah, if we win all the main games before Christmas and we continue on a good form, of course we can win the title. Dano says smash the like button. That's it. Listen to Dano, smash the like button. Andrew, evening. Good to see you, Andrew. J Don, hi guys. How's it going? J Don. Glendon, hi. Andrew says, I want to give some respect to Bazunu. He's quality, shot stopping, commanding presence, confident and quick off his mark, I assume. Making 2 off Haaland. I think we'll come back for him in a few years. Listen, myself and Revel, the two people you see on camera right now, we're both Irish men. Revel actually also supports his local club, Shamrock Rovers, where Manchester City got Gavin Bazunu from. So listen, as Irishmen, we're very proud to see Gavin Bazunu doing well. We always knew he was a great keeper from the time he was 16 years old playing for Shamrock Rovers in the Europa League. He always looked like he had a huge amount of talent and he could go far in the game. But I said at the time on Bazunu when he moved to City that it was probably the wrong move for him. I always felt, even though as a City fan, that for his development, going to Manchester City might not be the best thing. I would have said maybe going to someone like Southampton from early would have been the best move for him. But listen, it's worked out great for Bazunu. You know what I mean? He starts in the sticks for Ireland on pretty well every game now, ahead of Queevy and Keller, who's also a very good keeper. And now he's doing really well for Southampton. I mean, we just spoke about this before we went live, Revel, didn't we, about Bazunu, that he didn't actually have a bad game. He conceded 4 against City, but he actually made a lot of really, bad situations fine. He made some great saves. He was quick off his line. And we said the same about the Copenhagen keeper during the week. The Copenhagen keeper was one of the best players in the pitch, but he still held 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you made that point in the Discord chat, wasn't it, about during midweek, about how the keeper stopped it from being 7 or 8-0. Bazunu did that too. Bazunu stopped Haaland from having about 4 goals. Like I was I had a tweet, I had actually got a tweet lined up on I don't know if it's my account or our account, but I had it lined up saying the only two goalkeepers this season to stop Haaland from scoring would have been Mark Travers and Gavin Bazunu, two Irish keepers. But then that tweet quickly went out the window because he ended up scoring. But I mean, fuck me. Is this actually, I have a little question for you. I was talking about it with a few of the boys in work, right? Is this a hot streak or is this the norm?
What, the unbeaten thing?
No, Haaland.
Oh, see, we don't know. Like with Haaland, he's the only fixture he hasn't scored in now for Manchester City is Bournemouth, and I've said this a number of times now. The one game I've been to this season is the Bournemouth game. And for those of you out there who go, "Oh, you don't go to games. You only beat the one game this season." Last season, I went to like 18 games. Just I'm so busy with college and work at the minute that until kind of after Christmas, I won't get to go to many games. But on the hot streak thing, I don't know. We don't know what to base this off. I mean, you would think that being a normal human being, which we're led to believe he is, even though a lot of people speculate that he's a robot, that he will, go through a down point or a dry spell, something like that is naturally going to come along, and then we can kind of judge it a bit better then. But as of right now, yeah, I suppose call it a hot streak. Erling Haaland, people in the chat, maybe do you think this is a hot streak for Haaland, or is this just normal? Are we expecting Haaland to score at least once or twice every single game? Is that unfair to put that pressure on Haaland to expect him to score every single game? I don't know, but we'll get into it. I mean, he didn't play great against Southampton by any means, but he still scored. And we said that about the Villa game as well. We said it about the Wolves game as well. So maybe it is the norm. Maybe it's a case of even when he's not playing well, and he's not looking his best or things aren't really going his way, Erling Haaland is still going to score goals. So maybe him just scoring every week is the norm. I don't know. You guys in the chat, let me know what you think. Is this the norm for Erling Haaland to just score? Jay Don, listen, mate, I've read your message and I'm really sorry to hear what you're going through. And I hope these streams or just chatting to us whenever we're live can help you in some shape or form. I know everybody has their own struggles and problems in life. So, and of course, our messages on Instagram, feel free to shoot us a text there if you ever want to talk. We're open to talking about anything. It doesn't have to be just football. We're normal people as well, and we understand that everybody, like I said, has their own problems in life. So people show some support for Jadon. You never know what people are going through. Andrew W says, that's heavy, Jadon. Have you got a good support network? Exactly. Make sure you have a good support network. Get chatting to people, open up, and listen. I just hope things can work out for you. De Bruyne, man of the match. Bazunu, a lot of love for Bazunu in the chat. Do you fear Arsenal? I think we're going to have a talk about all this. There's some great questions coming in, people. Keep getting in your thoughts, get in some questions that you might want us to talk about, what topics you want to see us talk about. Like I said at the start, it's going to be a bit more of a chill one tonight because there's only so many streams where we can come on and go, City were exceptional. We battered Southampton 4-0. The reality is, Rebel, we may as well start here. We never had to get into top gear, did we? It actually looked slow early doors, and I was kind of getting almost reminiscent or deja vu of, I think we were at the Southampton at home game last year, weren't we? The 1-1. Yeah, where Kyle Walker narrowly avoided a red card, and I was getting kind of deja vu of that, and I was thinking, is Ralph Hasenhüttl about to pull off another masterclass and basically out-tactic Pep or outwork us in midfield and overrun us? That's the way you naturally feel with City, you know what I mean? When you think, before we had Haaland anyway, when things were looking slow, they look really slow, and you're kind of like you're in for a long afternoon, and you're hoping for one moment of magic, and someone's going to step up and score the goal. But listen, what did you think on that, I suppose? I know we won 4-0 and the goals eventually came, but what were you thinking early doors? Because there was a part of me that was thinking, when Joe Aribo made 1-1 early doors as well, I was thinking we could get exposed here. I'm not liking how this is looking.
Yeah, no, I was the same, man, to be honest, because I was sat there, I was like, this could end up being just one of those fucking horrible days where you'll have 43 shots with about 6 on target. I tell you what I thought it was. Now, I'm pretty sure we were 1-0 up at this point already, right? But when Haaland hit the post, he hit the inside of the post, that's when I was like, this could end up being like a Southampton equaliser away from being the longest day of my life. But I mean, I have to turn around. That second goal from Foden was fucking outstanding. My Jesus, what a goal. But yeah, it came out looking slow, but it's just individual moments of magic, really. Now I know he came out man of the match. It's a pretty obvious thing to say, but Cancelo yesterday was sublime. I thought it just his run for the goal, even his assist, he didn't assist. Did he assist Haaland? Was it, or did he assist Foden? Got an assist, and not that much.
So you know, Cancelo assisted Haaland.
Right. He is right now. Look, I've given him. I don't want to say stick. I've given him stick, but I've said that he hasn't been nearly as good as he was near the end of the season. That game unreal from himself. Like, he dropped down whilst he had ankle braces for the next game. He was phenomenal. I think the individuals really, really pulled City out of what could have been a potential, I don't want to say bogey team, but a potential kind of dump. City got pulled out of by individual magic, in my opinion. I thought as well, he hasn't got a stat to his name, I don't think, but Bernardo Silva was fantastic.
I think on the Cancelo one, I was having a conversation on Never a Foul the other day. Shout out Never a Foul, great channel. They're always doing good streams and good conversations. And we're talking about fullbacks and Reece James and Trent more specifically. The hot topic wasn't really Cancelo. He wasn't the main focus, but I kept bringing Cancelo in because I didn't actually say this at the time because I didn't have it confirmed in my own head. But after watching Cancelo against Southampton, I came to the realization that right now, just right now, Cancelo is the best fullback in the world. He is the best fullback in the world. But I don't get ahead of myself and say that in a sense that there's loads of other great fullbacks that are in the conversation. Cancelo's just better all round than them. I still don't believe. I view Cancelo similar to the way I view Trent when Trent was playing his best football. That Cancelo is fantastic going forward, really creative, can score goals, can set up goals, really, really offensive fullback. But we still know with Cancelo there is a dwindling question over his defensive abilities. Now, I will also give Cancelo the credit and the respect he deserves and say he is nowhere near as bad defensively as Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold is an absolutely shambolic defender. His ability to spot danger, his positional awareness, his timing of his challenges, he just looks so incompetent and unconfident when he's defending. He's like, I will also give him the credit that when Liverpool are playing with zip and full of confidence and firing, Trent is absolutely, he's one of the best in the business. But I'm sorry, the primary function and the fundamentals of being a fullback, any great fullback will tell you is forget about being an attacker primarily. If you can do that, great, but you have to defend. If you're a fullback, you have to be able to defend. And I suppose Cancelo is possibly covered up for the fact, or covered his defensive weaknesses are obviously covered up a little bit by the fact that we have all the ball all the time. So he doesn't actually have a huge amount of defending to do. But on the few occasions that Cancelo has been caught out, you kind of go, okay, yeah, maybe, he's not the best defensively. But in terms of right now and on form, it's definitely between Reece James and João Cancelo for best fullback in the world. And for me right now, just right now, with the confidence he's playing with and the way he's playing and the influence he's having over games, I'm going to give it to Cancelo. And I'm sure Chelsea fans, Rebel, you can give your answer as well. I'm sure Chelsea fans will have their own opinions and they'll say it's Reece James. And I wouldn't actually argue too heavily against it. I'm not sitting here saying this is final, this is the answer, Cancelo is the best. It's just for me, the way I like my fullbacks to play, I think it's Cancelo. But it's a good conversation, best fullback, because we also said on the Never a Foul stream the other day, Rebel, that there's not actually many great fullbacks in the world right now. There's maybe a handful of fullbacks you could say, yeah, they're top tier, they're very good, and a lot of them are only really very good because of the systems they play in. Cancelo is only as good as he is because of the system he plays in. But listen, I think it's a good question for you. Where do you stand on Cancelo, and maybe give your opinions on Trent as well?
I have Cancelo over James, but the fucking beautiful thing is that they could actually both play in the same thing together, which is really cool because Cancelo, of course, operates more on the left-hand side nowadays. James, more of a right-hand side player. But to have a little an opinion on Trent Arnold, fuck me, today he was abysmal. He got hooked at half-time, but wasn't just thinking. I'm just looking at his positional awareness, just to take everything else out of the equation. The first thing you have to be as a defender is aware of your surroundings. He is never aware. He doesn't know what's going on with him, which is how people get in behind. Martinelli, I'm sorry, I rate Martinelli. Martinelli's a great player, but fuck me, he was made look like Messi today. And it was because of bad defending. Like, it really was because of bad defending, as highly as I rate him. He was just made look a lot better by really poor defending. We don't seem to have that issue, mainly because we are playing centre halves at fullback. Sorry, I stumbled there, didn't I? We played centre halves at fullback. We'll get into the game later. Like Akanji, Stones has played there, Ake has played there in the past. We have good defensive coverage for someone like Cancelo who wants to get up. So, but then again, Cancelo's good enough defensively that he can do a job. Trent, on the other hand, is so good at going forward. I'm not going to knock him on that. I think going forward goes is the best in the business when he's on it. But if he's asked to get back, then they fall apart. They don't have the same kind of deal they used to, where Henderson had the engine in him to go and cover him. Henderson's falling apart when it comes to football, and he is awful as well. Everything's just going wrong at the wrong time for Trent and Liverpool. But right now, I do have, just to bring it back to the point, I do have to agree with you. I I think Cancelo's best in the world. No debate.
I also think with Trent, he was covered up for with how good Van Dijk and Matip and Robertson were at what they did. I mean, Robertson, when he's on form, he is probably the best defensive fullback in the world. I hate the guy. I hate playing against him, but you'd love to have Robertson in your team, though. I would love to have Robertson at Manchester City and put Cancelo on the right doing his thing, and maybe have Robertson on the left. I have to give Robertson his credit. And the thing is, what's making Trent look even worse is, yeah, you're right. People like Jordan Henderson aren't covering the space when Trent goes forward. But Van Dijk, who I think someone in the chat makes the point here, Millwall Alf says VVD didn't cover himself in glory either. Virgil van Dijk is playing with little or no confidence right now. He looks a shadow of his best form, and that's it's spreading into the rest of the team, and the rest of them are playing like that. I mean, with Trent, I don't even know where to start. He looks completely clueless when it comes to defending. It's like he's never defended before. And Grizz made the point to me the other day, which was he's only been a fullback for 4 or 5 years and that kind of thing, and he's still learning his trade. And you know what? There's a part of me understands that, but there's also a part of me says if you're playing at the highest fucking level for a team that should be challenging for a Premier League, to come up with the excuse of, he's only been playing the position for a few years isn't good enough. Get someone who can play the position or knows their position better so you can challenge. Don't use that as an excuse as to why you're conceding goals. It seems to be a case of, shout out Martinelli. People are talking about Martinelli in the chat. He's absolutely brilliant. He's on fire right now. He's playing with confidence. He's scoring goals. He's creating goals. Martinelli is a serious player, people. He's going to cause problems for any fullback. He's going to cause problems for defenses all over the world and all over Europe, whoever they play against. But with Trent, it's a case of no matter who who Liverpool are playing against, any winger up against Trent is going to be confident they can beat him. It seems to be cash money every single time we go down Liverpool's right hand side, and it's really cost them. I mean, Leandro Trossard, who got his hat trick in Anfield last week, I'm pretty sure all 3 of those goals came from Trent's right hand side. It's just leaking goals, and it's costing Liverpool points. And I know he scored a great free kick against Rangers the other day and whatnot, but I don't think he's got any goals or assists in the Premier League. And it just doesn't look good for Trent. It doesn't look good for him. I can't see him going to the World Cup with England if this continues. I really can't.
He'll 100% be it.
But we know that Gareth Southgate is all about defence. He's all about his defence.
He's all about favourites at the same time, and you have to remember he is very favourite heavy when it comes to people like Walker. He tries getting him in all the time, playing him at centre half, so much so that he'll play him while he's injured. Trent again, he's done a lot. Who else did he shoehorn into a squad? He shoehorned a couple of people to. Joe would not know.
Do you know who I think is in with a real shout to get into this England squad over Trent? Ben White. Ben White.
But he's not a right wing back. See,
he's playing right full back for Arsenal right now.
Right full back.
Yeah, but England like their fullbacks to be fullbacks and not really attacking. Trent doesn't really get the license to bomb forward with England the way he does with Liverpool, so he doesn't look great for England anyway. I just think the way Southgate operates, the player Southgate likes right now, with the way Arsenal are playing and the way Ben White's playing, I think it bodes better for Ben White and his chances of getting into the squad than Trent. I mean, I know it's probably an unfair assessment, but the way each player's team is getting on and the form that the team is in does actually have a massive bearing on the individual's chances of getting into the squad. The fact of the matter is Liverpool are completely in the mud right now. Crisis is the word that I use, and Grizz doesn't like when I use that. And Arsenal are going through the best period they've had in well over a decade. So for Ben White, it just bodes well for him, and I think he looks confident. He's playing well as well. They're not conceding many goals, or at least they're not leaking as many as they used to. And I don't know, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a bit of a head wreck for Southgate. What are people saying in the chat? There's nothing sweeter than watching this Liverpool team crumble after all the rubbish they've talked about their team and manager for years. Listen, it's only a couple of weeks ago, people, that the Liverpool fans, when they beat us in the Community Shield, we've got the best manager in the world, the best right back in the world, the best the centre halves in the world. Who?
Klopp said this.
Yeah, Klopp, listen, the dickhead himself was coming out with all this nonsense. We've got the best player in every position. Why aren't these players standing up? They've just handed Mo Salah a bumper contract, massive money like they've never spent before on a player's wages. And the guy's gone missing. He's been missing. He's been missing since the AFCON. It's like he stayed in Africa after the competition. No one's seen that guy turn up. I mean, he's done absolutely nothing. I don't know. And Van Dijk, like I said, isn't playing his best football as well. It's complete disarray for Liverpool right now. And this isn't a Liverpool stream, but obviously after today's game, fantastic game. Listen, as far as Super Sundays go, Liverpool-Arsenal today was an absolute blockbuster. And we learned a lot about both teams. We learned that Arsenal They have massive character. They have massive kahunas, is what they have. When I say that, I mean it, because they took the lead twice and they let the lead slip twice, and yeah, massive balls. And they came back and still won the game. And that young man, Bukayo Saka, I have to give it to him, man. He's got ice cold veins, in fairness to him. I know he missed that penalty, didn't he, in the Euros final for and people thought that might affect his confidence, and those kind of moments can change players forever. You know what I mean? It can really, really knock them mentally. But listen, Bukayo Saka, he's the guy right now. He's absolutely he's cool. I'd have him at City as well at some point when he let him develop a little bit more. But yeah, and we learned a lot about Liverpool as well. We learned that Arsenal have got the big kahunas, the big bollocks, and we learned that Liverpool. Wait, right? Arsenal have the big bollocks, and Liverpool. Yeah. I'm mixing up my teams here. Arsenal have the big bollocks and Liverpool have no bollocks. Liverpool are spineless. You obviously watched that game. Fire away and tell me what you thought.
I thought it was for one, really, really entertaining. End-to-end stuff, really just like it kept my ADHD kind of settled, you know what I mean? I was able to sit and watch it. But fuck me, right? I'm not one to jump on the Liverpool getting bummed by refereeing decisions but how that isn't a penalty and how the other one was a penalty is wild to me. His arm is up there. Ben, what height is Gabriel? 6'3", 6'2", 6'3"? Just tall guy.
He's the one weak link. He's the one weak link in that team, Gabriel.
I don't think he's that bad.
There's a mistake in Gabriel every single game. Every single game, Gabriel is going to do something stupid. How that wasn't a penalty, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. He's a good 6'2", 6'3", and his arm's up there, and it whacks it, and it hasn't been given a penalty. I don't understand it, right? Again, I couldn't care less. I don't.
Is that his internet?
There was a comment there saying, "When do we take Arsenal seriously?" Yeah, it was probably mine. Right, it's gone. There was a comment there that said, "Do we take Arsenal seriously? Do we fear them?" I don't. I'll be honest. I really don't. I really don't. That's why I'm not too pushed with Liverpool losing and Arsenal winning today. Obviously, I would have preferred a draw. Draw would have been my ideal result. But other than that, taking that out of the equation, the match today was great. But it's really shown off a lot of flaws when it comes to Liverpool. And again, it has shown that for you. Now, I didn't really notice it when it came to Gabriel, but for you and other people have seen that Gabriel is that weak link. It's leaving up things that City can expose and other things can expose. It's a telling game. And again, Louis, don't forget about Diaz. Diaz is fucked. No, Luis Diaz is fucked. He went out in a knee brace and crutches.
Yeah, I heard that. That's a big loss. If he's out for a long time, that's really bad for Liverpool. He's the one. Yeah, he's the one bright spark in that Liverpool team right now, Luis Diaz. If he's out for time, it could be peak. And if he's not playing against us next week, that's massive. That's massive. Now, still, I know we'll do a proper preview for that Liverpool game, but I'll just say very briefly, even with Luis Diaz not playing, if that is to be, even with them in completely shit form, with their whole team crumbling, the key men not on form, I still don't think we're going to win. I just have it ingrained in me that when you go to Anfield as a Manchester City player or fan, you don't get a win. But listen, like I said, we're going to do a proper preview for that. I've arranged to get the man, the myth, the legend, James Redmond is going to come on and join us on Thursday evening at some point. Look out for that. We'll have James on and do a proper preview, maybe combined 11 for Liverpool as well. Big week ahead. Copenhagen again on Tuesday, and then followed by Liverpool on Sunday. So a lot of things to look forward to. A couple of collaborations, a lot of streams and whatnot. But yeah, listen, for Liverpool, it's just a mess, isn't it?
That's really bad. Like they could end up like, I think they'll get top 4. But would it surprise? Nah, it would surprise me. But on current form, they're not getting top 4. On current form, they are 4 points away from the relegation zone.
Exactly. I don't know. Like we've been saying for weeks now, and I've been saying for weeks in the Big Six that this must be the week where it clicks back for Liverpool. You know what I mean? They get back into gear and things seem to work out, and they go on a bit of a run and they kind of redeem themselves for that really poor start to the season. It's just not happening, is it? It's just not happening. I think they're 2 wins. They're running on 2 wins in the Premier League this season.
We said this last year, or not last year, sorry, the year before. Do you know when they started really bad? They had a really, really bad run after Everton, after Van Dijk got injured.
Yeah.
We were waiting for it to click that season. I remember we have reviews and previews talking out the fucking hole about how we were waiting for it. And it's only funny enough after we beat them, I kind of went, this isn't coming. So maybe next week, if we beat them, that'll be the time to turn around and say, right,
Liverpool won't go into that game against us with the mindset of, oh, we're not playing great, City are firing. They'll say, listen, let's put in a big fucking shift. If we can get a win over City in Anfield next week, that's a real building block. That is a page turner. That's a mentality builder. That's a character builder. And all of a sudden, the team is playing with a different level of confidence. The first team to beat City this season, like I believe we will get beaten. I'd love to go invincible, but isn't that completely out of the question right now? But whatever team beats City first this season are going to get serious confidence from that, because that's an absolutely massive statement. And you best believe Klopp and Liverpool will really want to make that statement. Everybody will want to make that statement, but Liverpool, who are in complete disarray right now, will need that. You're getting a bit of stick here from some of the people saying you don't fear Arsenal. Come on, fella, explain yourself.
Why should I? Right? You're looking at.
They're ahead of us. They're ahead of us in the league.
They're ahead of us now. It's 10 games in, right?
Well, listen, 10 games.
Arsenal are a good team. Arsenal are a good team, right? I'll tell you what's happening, right? You wait till after the World Cup, right? Things will happen to them. Let's be fair. They're known for kind of dropping off. We saw it again last season. Do you think they're going from someone who bottled top four about 5 games ago to win the Premier League? Come off it, right? They'll end up with an injury. Eventually, there will be an injury, like say to one of their front four. They'll drop out and they'll look all the weaker for it, which is natural. Arteta, I don't think has the experience either. They're a young team. They will come good. They could eventually win a league. Not this season. As well. You also have to bear in mind, City haven't got out of second gear. Even against United, they barely got out of second gear. And they're winning every game. Almost every game. They're winning almost every game. I think Arsenal are a good team. I think they'll get second or third. Probably maybe second. I'm not afraid of them. I'm sorry, it might just be me being a bit cocky. I'm just not afraid of them.
I am, and I'll tell you why. Because they're playing with a huge amount of character and a huge amount of confidence. They don't fear anybody. Arsenal, they're like, they didn't fear Man United. I know they lost that day. They didn't fear Liverpool today. Liverpool was a serious fucking bogey team for Arsenal, like a real bogey team. The same way it was for us with Anfield. And they went out today and showed serious character. I know people are making the joke, and it is somewhat true. Pep got bored of winning the league every single season, so he manufactured a challenge for himself and built another manager and sent him a few players to help him out as well. It's a funny narrative, but the reality is Arteta is building something really good at Arsenal. His team are playing with serious confidence, serious fire. They've got great unity. They play fast football. They dominate the ball more so than other teams do in the league. Like, their possession stats will be a lot higher than a lot of the other teams. So we probably won't have as much of the ball when we play Arsenal as we do against, say, Man United last week, dare I say it, or other teams. But Arsenal are going to be a problem. I think they're going to be a problem, especially at the Emirates. The noise of the Emirates these days is such a turn of events, because for years, I know we get stick for having no fans and no noise in the Etihad and whatnot, but I still said it about the Emirates. I always said about the Emirates. I've been there loads of times, and I always said there's no noise in the Emirates. It's like a library. It's this new stadium that they never brought the Highbury atmosphere to the Emirates. When I say it, I mean it. The atmosphere is absolutely quality at the minute. You could hear it coming through the television. I was at their game. I was at the Arsenal game last April. I was in London for the Tyson Fury fight, and I saw them in the Emirates beat Man United 3-1. And the atmosphere then was absolutely quality. I know it was against Man United, but there's a real feel-good factor around Arsenal Football Club right now. And I know Daniel makes the point here in the chat, Hugh Chelsea were top of the league until November. It's not the same. That Chelsea team were not a complete team. They were not a complete team. They were just a good team. They were, in the title race. Arsenal have that little bit of X factor right now. And if they can keep that going and bring it into a game against us, it could, like, I wouldn't be confidently predicting a win. I'll always back City and I'll say, yeah, I think we will win. If things go to plan, we will beat them. But I think if there's any team in the league right now to beat us, and I don't just mean beat us like with a fluke or a counter-attack goal and we go, fuck's sake, a one-off moment that's beating us. Arsenal are probably the one team in the league that could, on their day, if we have a slightly off day and they have a proper on day, they could out-football us, is what I'm saying. They're the only team in the league right now that could out-football us. They could hold on to possession, they could play passes, they could play it through the back. You could see Martinelli giving our back four, if they're not on form, a serious bad time. The narrative is there for us, for Jesus to score one or two in the Etihad as well, isn't it? It just reeks. City Arsenal reeks a little bit for me, and it's not that I'm like, oh, fuck, Arsenal are coming, they're going to make life really difficult for us this season. No, I still back us to win the league. All I'm saying is, right now, you have to put some serious respect on Mikel Arteta and Arsenal's name. You really do. Like, we knew that this season, Arsenal were going to come into the season feeling good. They had a great preseason. They'd signed new players. But everybody was saying, what happens when the first problem arises, when the Europa League starts, when they lose their first game, when any adversity comes their way, how are Arsenal going to react to that? They've reacted to it all phenomenally. They're playing their Europa League games and they're winning them. They lost to Man United, which we all kind of went was, is this going to be Arsenal knocked down a peg or two? Are they going to, get disheartened or kind of, is it going to affect them going forward? No, they came out the next game and absolutely stormed it. Then they absolutely battered Tottenham and then they battered Liverpool today. They battered a 3-2 scoreline really flatters Liverpool. Arsenal outplayed them for 90% of that game. Liverpool took their 2 real chances. Credit to Central C, Darwin Núñez for scoring.
I do somewhat disagree. I think the second half was a completely different story. I think they battered them, Arsenal. Arsenal battered Liverpool second half. First half, Liverpool were really good and they should have had a penalty. Kind of took the sting out of it. Maybe not. I don't. I'm actually, it was 1-0. That's what it was. It was 1-0 when that penalty wasn't given. It completely changes the shape of the game. But I don't know. I wouldn't say Arsenal completely piped them for 90% of it. But the second half was men versus boys. Second half was shambolic from Liverpool and really, really good man. Look, I'm not turning around saying Arsenal. I'm not saying they're completely shit. There's every chance they beat us. That. I'm not trying to disrespect them in that manner, but I'm still saying I don't fear them when it comes to league. When it comes to winning the league.
Well, this is how we felt. This is how we feel regularly. There's always one team every single season that either beats us and they get great confidence from that, but we go on to win the league. I mean, when Man United beat us in the Etihad, they won the Etihad. We beat Man City in the Etihad Trophy, but we still went on to win the Premier League. I still firmly believe we will win this Premier League, and I'm not saying we'll win it by 15, 20 points, but I think there'll be a sizable gap between first and second. I still think, not that I expect, but I believe that if we keep going the way we're going and things work out the way I think they will, I think there'll be at least a 6, 7, 8 point gap between first and second, and this will be just a great building year for Arsenal. But I'm talking in these one-off fixtures. We play Arsenal home and away, twice a year. In those 2 fixtures, particularly one in the Emirates, it's set up for us to lose. I think there's such a narrative and such a storyline there that would. It's just bound to happen. It'll be typical City. Pep's apprentice beats him. Jesus comes back to haunt. Zinchenko assists. Something along these lines, and it would be. I think Arsenal are definitely. They're in the title race, but not really in the title race. They're not going to win the Premier League, but they're going to be the next best thing. They're going to be the second place team. They're going to be the best. The rest, if you ask me, I don't know. I have to give credit. I think with them being so young and the way they're playing right now, you can't help but think, another 1 or 2 additions to their squad next summer, and the other a bit older, they've had that experience under their belt. They're only going to get better next year and the year after if they keep building and the process keeps working the way it is. Then they can start really thinking about pushing for Premier Leagues and challenging City. But for now, listen, big up Arsenal. That's all I'll say. Let me read what people are saying. Curtis, is it the same for City fans as Arsenal fans? If a few City players get injured, the standards drop. If so, who? I think it used to be very much the case for City that if a few players got injured, the standard would drastically drop. But I think Pep has now built a squad so good, with depth so good, that we have pretty sufficient replacements for almost every single position. There's not one player on our bench every single week now that I look at and go, oh, if he comes on to replace the starting 11 player in that position, we're a bit weak on that side. When Akanji came in, the question mark was, could he step up his game and up his level and fill in for a Diaz if he was injured, or a Laporte or Stones? We now know he can. We now know Akanji is more than capable. He's perfectly fine. Calvin Phillips, we're yet to see him. Julian Alvarez, we know, can score. There's depth there in a way that we probably haven't had before. So I think for Arsenal, you're right though, Curtis. Was it Curtis? Yeah, Curtis. That if say Saliba gets injured, or I don't know, Martinelli or Jesus, these really influential players that are the backbone of the team that you rely on every single week, Saka, the standards will probably drop. I mean, Thomas Partey, when he's injured, you see the standards drop. El Neni's not a sufficient replacement for Thomas Partey. Arsenal will probably need to get one more holding midfielder of Connor Partey's level to really secure themselves and make sure that there's no disasters if he gets injured or other players get injured. Same with Saliba. If Saliba gets injured, is Rob Holding a sufficient replacement? Probably not. I'll leave that up to you. Listen, there's 40 people in the building right now. We're not even talking about City. We said this was going to be a review about City Southampton, but the reality is there was much more exciting games.
Where did we manage to get on to Liverpool from?
The people in the chat, man. What happened? The reality is the City Southampton game. For us, buzzing, we get our 3 points and we move on to the next. But the reality is, there was much more exciting games on. So people probably want to hear us talk about that. And that's fine. We will talk a bit about City as well. But listen, 40 people in the building. If you would do me the favor and just smash the like button, really, really helps the channel. Like I said, we're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. So, of course, subscribe as well to the channel if you're new. But just hit the like button. It's free to do and it massively, massively helps us. Ferran Mazar, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, says, do you think if Kevin De Bruyne gets injured, it will also affect Haaland's form? No, I don't think it will at all. Rebel, what do you think about
that? No, I don't think. Well, like it's easy enough saying if you take out the main provider of goals in a team that the goal scorer will dwindle, but I don't think he will, purely off the fact that Haaland is one of the best players I've seen at making a goal out of nothing. Like making a goal out of absolutely nothing. Haaland is there. He's class at it. You have to remember, we have other attacking instigators in there. We've got Grealish, who I know you love, Foden, who I love, Gundogan, who I love, and Joe loves. Everyone in that midfield kind of moving into the front three is capable of creating anything, even a holding midfielder. He got the Mahrez assist. Rodri got that Mahrez assist. It's not going to fall off. And I also don't, it doesn't seem like De Bruyne has even had one of his famous niggles, as it's been called. He hasn't. Like, everything looks set up well, and I know I've jinxed it there, but everything looks set up well for him to keep firing. And to be honest, I can't say it's stopping at the minute. And that's not jinx.
You probably just jinxed it there. He's going to pick up some. The thing with De Bruyne is he always has one like medium to long term injury in him a season. He always gets, it's usually his glass ankles, isn't it? He's got dodgy ankles, De Bruyne. So the thing is, Pep knows this, City know this, the whole team know this, that there's every likelihood De Bruyne will pick up an injury. But listen, there's creativity all over that pitch. Like De Bruyne, it's not a case of, we have one great striker and one attacking midfielder or creative midfielder, and we rely on both of them to link up and the chemistry to be there so they can get us our wins. No, I mean, we just spoke in depth a few minutes ago about Cancelo, who I believe is the best fullback in the world right now, definitely in an attacking sense. How creative that guy is. He's picking up assists, he's scoring goals. We know Bernardo's creative. We know Grealish is looking creative these days. Foden is scoring goals and he's creative. Like, this team is not lacking people who will pick up assists and create chances for Haaland. And even if Haaland gets injured, yes, it will be a blow because he is, the man right now, and he's someone you can kind of rely on to score. I still wouldn't be going, oh fuck, this has really damaged us, because Julian Alvarez, I fully back Julian Alvarez to come on, and I'm not saying fulfill and catch up with Haaland on goal return, because I don't think that's really possible for anyone to do, but I'm saying he'll get us those goals that we need to win games, just get us over the line and pick up the 3 points in those fixtures where we otherwise wouldn't. And if worst came to very, very worst, and there was no Alvarez either, I think Pep would have no issue with reverting back to a false nine and putting someone like Foden there, who this season has shown far more of an eye for scoring goals. When Foden played false nine previously, he struggled because finishing wasn't really his best thing. He was always a great dribbler, a great creative player, a great assister, whatnot, and now he's showing a serious eye for goal. He's hitting the back of the net. You could play Foden a false nine. So I just think on the overall point is, it's not as detrimental to us to lose a De Bruyne or a Haaland as it would be to Arsenal to lose a Saliba or a Martinelli or a Jesus. I think we're in a really good place, and fingers crossed no injury crisis or plague breaks out in the squad and we start losing loads of players, because we don't want that either. We're not trying to jinx it. Rico Lewis is looking good, says Jason. Rico Lewis does look good. He's very raw. And obviously these are all great experiences for him. Coming on the Champions League midweek against Copenhagen, massive for him. I think he's one of the youngest players ever to play in the Champions League under Pep, 17 years old or something like that, and then made his Premier League debut against Southampton. He's definitely one to look out for, and with Kyle Walker aging and consistently picking up injuries these days as well, we're going to need Rico Lewis to keep developing and looking good. But listen, we saw the process with Foden. We're seeing the process working out with Cole Palmer. Let's let Rico Lewis do the same thing. Pep has a great ability to coach and develop these young players and mold them into the players that Pep Guardiola wants. So listen, Rico Lewis, do your thing, man. Even Ederson could get a hat-trick of assists with the Nordic Meat Slinger up front. That's a new one for me. Nordic Meat Slinger Rebel.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll catch on. The Nordic Meat Shield can stay, but if you're on about a Meat Slinger, I mean...
Meat Slinger.
Like, imagine seeing like a 6'5" Norwegian, right? He comes in, you go, all right, what's starting Norwegian Meat Slinger? He'd look at you as if he had 10 heads on him.
Norwegian Meat Slinger. That's one for me. Jason, Yeah, Jason also says, any news on Walker? No, he just had a surgery there on his. It was his ankle, wasn't it?
No, he had it done on his what's the thing close to your balls? What's it called?
Abdominal.
Groin.
Groin. It's groin.
Right.
Abdominal.
No, Walker is going to be out for quite some time, people. I'd say there's a slim possibility he will go to Qatar with England, but we definitely will not see Kyle Walker playing for Manchester City until after Christmas. I'd say it'll be the new year before you see Kyle Walker turn out in a Man City shirt. But listen, we have the luxury of Super Cancelo, Trivela Cancelo, isn't that the term they use?
Trivela God.
Trivela God on the left hand side, and then we've got Gomez can play. You've got who else is there that plays
Man can defend well, Akanji.
Man can defend well. Akanji, John Stones is returning as well. Listen, it's all good, man. It's all good in terms of Kyle Walker, speedy recovery in that, but we have good cover. We're chilling, man. We're chilling. Don't worry about us.
To relate back to what you've said, you've made the point that we're in such a good place where we can have a player out injured for like 2 months like Kyle Walker and really not miss him. Like again, you take either Tomiyasu or Ben White kind of out of that team, and I hate to say it, but
I thought you were about to say something along the lines of we can take Tomiyasu next season.
But no, if you take either Tomiyasu or Ben White, who's also been playing right back, if you take actually no, that's a really shit thing because they have to. If you take someone again like Partey out of their team, they're fucked. But you've seen it this season. We've lost Kyle Walker. We've lost Rodri for a game. And we're putting different players in. We're experimenting with different kinds of football. And we have the players to do that. I don't think any team in the world, not just Arsenal, I'm not trying to just bait out Arsenal. I don't think any team in the league are able to do that.
No, you're definitely right. And I also think, obviously, it's never nice to lose one of your leaders in the team and one of the more experienced players and a great player in Kyle Walker. But I think Pep isn't devastated if it's not too weird for me to say that, because I think Pep has been planning for quite some time for the decline or tapering of Kyle Walker anyway. Bringing in Sergio Gomez, a young up and coming fullback. He's just promoted Rico Lewis, who is going to get more game time now as a result of this. When we're beating teams 3 and 4-0, which is going to happen, it's going to keep happening. Rico Lewis will get more game time. I think Pep is thinking towards the future. I think all these things point more just towards a Pep extension. I think we can all kind of agree that Pep is going to extend. This is not Pep's last season, so he is thinking that he needs to start refreshing and replenishing and bringing in new faces and younger players who, when you catch them at the right age and the right time, he can mold them into the right players. I know we caught Akanji at the age of 27, but obviously Pep sees his ability and his capabilities, and he's the right player for our system. What's this swap for Saka? Joe, you're the voice of God. Tell me what you're talking about in the chat there.
Dennis has said we should sell Walker and Mahrez to Arsenal. And Renner's come in the chat. We haven't seen Renner's for ages, actually. He's like, he's not for that. And I did make a joke because we shouldn't sell more players to Arsenal. They're in a title race with us now. But essentially, like, what it is, I think, where is he? Curtis is an Arsenal fan. He's like, he'd happily take Mahrez. So I suggested a swap for Bukayo Saka. Listen. You can have our entire right hand side for the last 3 years. It's completely fucking finished, and we'll take Saka. It's all right. It's fine.
Give you a tenner on his taxi fare. That'll kind of cover it up, won't it?
I'll give you Mahrez, Curtis. Yeah, for Saka. I think that's a fair deal, and you seem to like our players anyway, so it probably works out for you. Ferran says we need Brahim Diaz back. We don't. I can assure you we don't. He is absolute baller. Did you see his performance versus Juve? No, I didn't. But I tell you, no matter, I wouldn't take anybody in the world right now. Maybe Rafael Leao is probably one that I would take. Yeah, you like him?
He's so good. Oh my god,
he is the bomb. He's the bomb.com is what he is. He is magnificent. I know Joe's like on it, but it was Joe. Who was the chip against? Who did he score a chip against? Alanda.
No, it was a team in blue. Was it Empoli?
Empoli, I think it was Empoli, right? There was a ball played through to him and he kind of latches onto it.
He ran in his own half.
He ran in his own half and he's running through. And I can't do the demonstration, but the way he's done it, he's literally scooped it. He's just scooped it over the keeper. Oh, it was magnificent. Our goal scoring left-sided player with that level of technical ability is going to set you back so much money. But I know you're going to end up going against it, Murray, because you know who else plays on the left-hand side for Man City? Hugh Murray's, let's say Bumfield. Yeah, Bumfiddle's alright. Jack Grealish. Jack greasy-haired Grealish plays on the left-hand side, which means Rafael Leao, in Murray's mind, is absolutely useless.
Listen.
So now
come
you
up
have
with
it
the
confirmed.
compromise.
Rafael Leao is washed and overrated.
Sorry, see that people pulled up. Can we just take a minute? Compared to this season, how bad is that?
What, the shirt?
Yeah.
Oh Christ!
Oh,
Never again.
ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. Leave in the comments what do you think of that fucking hodgepodge, other than the
God.
7 letters and 2 numbers.
Yeah, Patrick Gannon in the chat. He says top of the league. Patrick is an Arsenal fan. He says top of the league. Would you take Saka? Yeah, I'd have Saka. Yeah, we'll just throw you like 40 million or something and offer him 20 grand extra on his deal, and you know he'll want to come and play under Pep. An upgrade. You know what I mean? He's playing under diet Pep right now. Pep Light, Mikel Arteta. Come and play under the real. You can't replicate the best, man. You can't recreate the best. Mahrez not respected or a fan favorite no more. Good backup for Saka. Listen, with Mahrez, he was our top scorer last season in the Premier League winning campaign. Mahrez is absolutely goated, and he's starting to find his form again. He's playing well.
Real bad Mahrez.
You up?
Real bad Mahrez. That's until he gets good. It's real bad Mahrez.
It's fucking shit. I'm sorry.
It's a real bad Mahrez. Calm down.
I'm sorry. People said he was actually quite good against Southampton. I didn't think he was that good. I know he got the goal. I didn't think he was like overly good. I didn't think he was overly that good. He had that one chance in the first, I think it was 10 minutes, where it's on the volley, and I'm not necessarily expecting him to score, but I'm expecting him to hit the target.
No, he does hit the target. See what he says it.
I think with Mahrez, he was over eager. He was trying too hard to score, and it just wasn't working for him. I mean, what was it, 3 or 4 attempts on goal before he actually got his goal, and some of them were complete howlers. But Joe, actually put a poll in the chat just while we're kind of slightly talking on Arsenal. Patrick, you missed me bigging up Arsenal just before you arrived. I was giving Arsenal a lot of praise about 10 minutes ago. Joe, put a poll in the chat for the people. There's 40 people in here right now. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. But put a poll, and I want all you 40 to answer. Are Arsenal in the title race? Are they real contenders to win the title? I want an answer on that. I want a definite answer. And you all, to be honest, I know as most of you are City fans, you will say no because you back us to win the league. But take your City hats off for a sec. Analyze the situation. Analyze the way they're playing, the character they're playing with, the feel-good factor around the Emirates right now. Take everything into consideration and just think about it.
I'm going to take that all into consideration, and I'm still going to vote resound and no.
I think I
cannot believe you are saying no to that. Just sorry, I have to say I cannot believe the man is saying no. He thinks we're going to get battered by Liverpool, but says Arsenal are in the title race.
You're putting fucking words in my mouth now, mate. You're putting words in my fucking mouth now. I never said that. I said I can now. I'm the same as Murray. I can't go into an Anfield game expecting 3 points.
But listen, you can't say Arsenal aren't in the title race.
Stop fucking speaking. You stop speaking for a minute. I'm not having you put this.
Slow down.
I'm not letting you have this slander on me. I'm more than confident going into Anfield, but I have the little thing like Murray does in the back of his head saying I can never actively go into Anfield expecting us to score expecting us to get 3 points, but we will. Ask me on the weekend, though. I'll say no. Ask me on the weekend.
Listen. Flip flop. I'd like to make it like it's only been going for a minute. There's 13 votes, so only about half the people have voted, but it is like 50-50. I think it's 6 to 7 people saying yes. So like, I'm more interested for the people who are saying no. What do they have to do to be title contenders? Like realistically, what is the criteria?
Beat City and still be ahead of them in January.
They are top. They have already lost a game. They have played Spurs in a derby. They've played Liverpool, who have a great record against them. They've beat them. They've already got halfway through their group stage of their European campaign, which is Thursday, Sunday, which people said was going to kill them. Realistically, what more do Arsenal have to do for people to turn around and go, yeah, they're in a title race. They're top of the league.
I'll tell you. They've to beat City when it comes around. Do we play them home first or away first?
We don't know because it hasn't been rescheduled.
It was away, but it was rescheduled. So
let's just say it's away for the time being, right? Beat City and stay top after the World Cup for... When's the World Cup end? Stevens Day?
First game back in the league is that Boxing Day, I think, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. If they can stay top, I'll say January. I give them January. If they're top in January, they are real.
But like, why are they not and we are? Why are we? What? And we've dropped points.
Because we've got the Norwegian meat slinger up front.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're top of the league right now, and they're playing great as well. And
They are. I'm not trying to discredit it. I just think we're that much better when we have.
I think people are just saying City are nailed on to win the Premier League because of Haaland, and you know what? I actually get that as well. But the reality is, Arsenal have had much harder fixtures than us, and they've come out still top of the league. They battered Tottenham, they made a show of Liverpool today, and they're still top of the league. We dropped points to Newcastle, we dropped points to Villa, and we're second. Like, I'm not for 1 sec saying it's going to be a neck and neck title race. I still back City to win this league. But to say at this moment right now that they're not in the title race, I think is a bit fucking harsh. You know, they've done a lot.
I think they're in it. I think they're in it.
I'm just not actively touring around saying anyone come in the league but City. Like, I'm just that confident. I'm never that confident in the league. But like, when I'm saying this, I'm like, I just don't see Arsenal winning the league. And I think that's
who's in the title race. Who's in the title race then? Is it just us?
At the minute, they are in the title race. But it's
just us, Joe, who aren't even top of the league.
So we're the only team in the title race. So if we somehow don't come out with the league title, it's a complete fucking failure because we were the only team in it and we didn't win it. Like,
no, but that's not something I can see. That's not something I can see. I'll be honest. I'm in the same camp as Murray. I can see City winning this league, and if you're actively saying you can see City winning the league. What you say? 7 or 8 points? 6.
I think it can be 6, 7, or 8 points.
Yes, okay, but still, if you think that is a possibility, then, like, again, Arsenal, position-wise, they are in the title race. Football-wise, playing great football, getting great results. I just can't see anyone but City winning. That's the thing.
You can't see anyone else winning it.
I'm never like this.
Yeah, you can't see anyone else winning it, but there are still teams in the race. One of which being Arsenal.
I can settle on that.
I don't know what's going on in your head right now. Curtis makes a great point. He says, Dara City hat is on at all times. I respect it.
No, it's not usually. Let's be fair, it's not usually.
Listen, this guy flip-flops more than a pancake. You know, like tomorrow he'll probably change his mind. Why have I just gone completely blue on camera?
I don't know. You do that now and again. You don't allow it.
My LED lights are having a madness. Listen, with Arsenal, as far as I'm concerned, they are title contenders. And now, there's only 43 people in the building right now. When it comes to the big six, I will not give the same energy. I will not give the same respect. But between you, my 1894 community that I cherish so dearly, and I give you my real, honest opinions, I do fear Arsenal. But not in the sense that I fear they'll stop us win the league. I fear Arsenal in the sense that they could beat us. They could beat us, like I said, particularly in the Emirates. I think that's a game they won't be fearing. Like I said, they're a young team, full of tenacity, playing with no fear. They didn't fear Liverpool at all today. For them, it wasn't a case of, we're up against a former great team who could still turn anybody over on their day. Mo Salah and Trent and all this kind of thing. No, Arsenal are a young team. We're like, fuck them. We're gonna play our game and we're gonna win this. And they show great character to come back 3 times from having lost a lead to go on and win the game. They are a real team. I don't think they have the minerals to go the full distance with us just because we're so experienced in these title races. We know how to win them. We know what it takes. But this season for Arsenal, they're going to do better than I think they expected. For them, their goal was to get top 4. I think they should be aiming for second place now. They should be trying to be the best of the rest and then making this season a building block, a really good building block for next season to try and close that gap kind of thing. You gotta fear for them. They're on a good path. They're on a good trajectory, and they play great football as well. So big up Arsenal. And you know what? This is the last of bigging up Arsenal I'm going to do for now. I've given them too much praise tonight. I'm a Manchester City fan. We are class. Yeah, we're fucking class as well.
You know what you remind me of at the minute? I always say Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
If you sorry, I'm going to personally go to Talan Barry.
Hold the fuck up. We are talking about fucking title races, and my man's bringing up Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Blue and then gets real fat, but the one who turns into a blueberry, you look like you're in the midst of that at the minute.
I don't know what's going on with my LEDs. Ferran says, or Jason says, top 4: City, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea. I actually think Chelsea for third now. I actually think Chelsea for third. My opinions have changed a little bit. I think they'll come good. I think Potter will get them winning games. I just don't know about Arsenal or about Spurs. Spurs have let me down a little bit. I had a lot of confidence in Spurs before the season. I thought Conte was the man. I just don't know. I know they're picking up the wins. I know they got a 1-0 win over Brighton yesterday, but that's a game I would have thought they would be looking to win 3 or 4-0 if they've really kicked on. I don't know. Maybe I'm being
Brighton away.
Yeah,
a new manager bounce. De Zerbi hasn't played well.
Yeah, for instance, in terms of team that can beat us on their day, I still fear Liverpool more than Arsenal. And you've every right to feel like that, Ferran. Liverpool, particularly in Anfield. I think if the game next week was in the Etihad, we'd absolutely maul them. I think we'd absolutely maul them. I think we'd batter them in the Etihad, but it's just that fucking geographical landmark that is Anfield. That 1-4-walled place.
Yeah.
We just seem to crumble more often than not when we go there. So Liverpool can definitely turn us over at Anfield, and Arsenal could turn us over in the Etihad. Arsenal could genuinely come to the Etihad and put up a serious fight against us. So you know what? Who knows? Curtis says, keep it going till you keep the Arsenal hat on. There's no Arsenal hat, Curtis. There's no Arsenal hat.
Oh, he's got an Arsenal hat on. He's taking
no Arsenal hat.
Took it off the open when he went over.
I'm an honest man. I'm an honest and an integral man. I appreciate good football when I see it, and I appreciate a good team when I see one. And Arsenal right now, they're a good team. They're a good team, and until they really start causing problems for us and making the title race a bit uncomfortable for us in the business end of the season, I won't shit on them. I won't start spouting hate towards Arsenal unless they start taking trophies off us or making.
That's where I come in.
Good job. Listen, people, we're gonna get back to talking about City. Went on a bit of a tantrum. Yeah, went on a bit of a tantrum there for a sec. I want to talk a bit more about City, but listen, there's 40 people in the building right now as well. Make sure you've all hit the like button. All 40 of you, if you would hit the like button, it massively helps the channel on the road to 4,000 subscribers. I cannot wait to hit that milestone. It'll be a real nice feeling to hit 4,000. So all of your likes and subscribes, it helps us that little bit, and we really appreciate all of you coming in. Latabo says between game week 22 and 29, they could win all those games going on a serious run. Between game week 30 and 38, they've got West Ham away, City away, Chelsea at home, and Newcastle away. So basically what he's saying there is their run in the league is pretty goddamn nasty.
Don't take that as gospel. Don't take that as gospel. It could change. That's a long time away. Things could get rescheduled. Will you quiet that dog down, man?
She's being a dickhead, man. I'll tell you what, yeah, I'm getting her.
Yeah, like that. We've got a similar running, I think, to the end of the season where we've got a harder one than we've had for the last couple of years. I know Chelsea's our last home game of the season, but I think I don't look too far in terms of like runnings at the end of the season because they change a lot. They end up changing because games get postponed. You never know how. If Arsenal get to a Europa League final, which they probably would, at least based off what they probably would based on form, then you'd imagine they'd have a few postponements. Same thing if City go to a Champions League final, maybe we get postponements and stuff. And so I don't look too far in the future. But I'm actually going to end the poll now, and out of 26 votes, it's ended 46%. So I think there's only the two in it. 12. I think one person extra, maybe 2 people sway. Yeah, 14-12. So it's very close. People are very on edge about whether Arsenal are actually, in a title race right now, which I guess it's sort of expected. I think some of those votes for no are on the same wavelength of they're probably going to fall off at some point.
They're like an elephant on top of a tree trunk. You don't know how it got there. But you know it's going to fall eventually.
I've just seen Murray mouth. What?
Thank God it didn't cut over. Fucking get it. You got my joke when it's cost. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Latava, all I'm saying is Arsenal will crumble. Back to talking about City. Yeah, listen, you're right, Latava. We rambled on about the Arsenal a bit too much now. Joe, seeing as you're the voice of God, you may as well talk to us a little bit about City while you're there. Tell me what you thought about the Southampton game. 4-0. Let me run through it a little bit, the Southampton game, because we need to give these batterings a fair amount of airtime when they come along. Cancelo, like I said, we talked about him, absolutely phenomenal. Phil Foden, I think we need to have a conversation about Phil Foden. Joe, give me your thoughts on that guy right now. He's on fire. A hat-trick against United and then a goal against Southampton.
Oh my God. I wasn't actually a huge fan of seeing him lining up on the left because I don't think he's been that good there this season, but I mean, it's worked. It was weird because this is the first time this season that we've played a back three, which is something that I think a lot of us have been calling for this season to try and be a little bit more defensively sound, but it worked. Akanji, I mean, most of us, when we saw the team sheet on paper, went, right, Ake left back, Cancelo playing right back. It was not that. It was Akanji at right back and Cancelo at left. Cancelo wasn't left back, he was left wing. Let's get this clear. The man was playing left wing.
It was a back.
It was a proper back three, and it was essentially a front four, Mahrez wide right, Cancelo wide left, Haaland through the middle. Foden was sort of more as an attacking midfielder, which is more his thing, which it worked. He got a goal and an assist. He was close to man of the match. I think it goes to Cancelo because he did the same things, but from fullback. But yeah, I mean, fullback. Listen. People have been disrespected in this season, saying Saka clear and all this. Now, fuck off, would you? Saka clear. Come on, grow up. Listen, the man's on. You're gonna make me cough. Stop.
Would you fuck off?
Stop. You're gonna make me cough.
Just to be clear, Dennis, that's why he's not here. That's why the man's not here.
He's sick right now. Joe is sick with his wife.
I sold you through for the strains and I was sick. You saw me bleeding like a tap me now as well.
I was sick. Which one was it? Was it Copenhagen, the last one we did? I was bordering on sick. I was bordering on sick for that one, but my voice completely caved in over the last few days. But I still try. Listen, leave me alone. No, Foden, listen, I think he's close to his total output of last season. I think last season he did have a little bit of a dip because he genuinely played absolutely everywhere. Like, he couldn't nail down a position for his life. He was playing left, he played right a couple of times, he was through the middle, he was in midfield a couple of times. He genuinely didn't have a position, he just played. But now that he's sort of nailed down a position where he's playing right more times than he is left, and he's not really dipped into that midfield, he's actually, he's picking up the numbers. I know numbers aren't everything, but the man is coming through and winning those games. Like, again, you touched on it earlier, like, he's got more of an eye for goal now. I think that comes with him playing on the right and being able to cut in on his right foot. Like, the man is just scoring goals. Like, he scored his first hat-trick. And I think right now he's one of the most on-form players in Europe. Like, not just young players, he's probably one of the better players right now, just in general in Europe. And I think there's not really much more I could say. He just has to carry this on, and I know that he's a player with a little bit of history at Anfield. Scored that cracker a couple of years ago, scored last season as well at Anfield. And I think, again, Haaland, I think he's another player that's just completely unfazed by stuff like that. Like, he won't care about Anfield's atmosphere. He scored at Anfield. He scored at Anfield for Salzburg. So I think that the players like that are key. Players who don't let the emotion affect them negatively. You saw against the derby, them two scoring hat-tricks. They used it as almost like a motivation thing to go on and do better. But I think that, like, they're two of the first names on the team sheet. And I don't care how many games Mahrez scores in, the fella needs to actually play good just in general to be able to come back into this team, because, again, I didn't think he was that good. But, like, he can't just take Foden or Grealish out of the team, because when they're in the team, we look so good.
I've got a fear that Mahrez will end up starting though. In Anfield.
No,
I've got it.
no.
I'm not saying that'll happen, but that'll be one thing where if he turns around and does it, it's like, he scored the goal. We put him in. That sounds like I'm all over. It's written all over. But you can't drop Grealish as much, like. I don't think.
Oh, look at him smiling! Look at him smiling over there. You can't drop Grealish.
I don't think I've given Grealish stick. I think we were always kind of fair on Grealish. Him in particular, but me and you, Joe, we were always very fair on Grealish, to the sense of we weren't calling him shit, wank. He deserves to be in that team.
I don't know about that, big man. I don't know about that. I think if I went through my archives, I'm sure I can find some evidence that
I'm sure you can find a lot worse in those archives, right? But, right, he deserves to be in that team. And I've given him some form of criticism in the past, but he deserves to be in that team. Foden can't be moved off that right. Haaland's a God-given right that he has to play. We know our best team. At the minute, I think we know our best team with what we've got available in front of us. I think
Run me through. What's the best team?
I can run it through. I'll run it through. So, Stefan Ortega to start off with.
Listen. None of this bollocks, right? You see the
Nah,
team
many
that we
both not
played
there.
against
Many both not there.
Southampton. Tank Mahrez
Take
out. Put
Mahrez
Grealish in.
Foden on the right and
Put Grealish in. Nathan Ake. Manuel Akanji. My mates. My centre halves. Plus
Akanji's
Ruben
my
Diaz, who's also chilling there. My centre half fullback weird combination things. They exist. I do think it's actually an interesting point on Grealish. It was just in the back of my mind. I didn't know whether I get a chance to mention it, but I think he only got one opportunity, but he took one corner and we almost scored from it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to mention that because our set pieces have been piss fucking poor this season, considering how they were last season. And Grealish took one. I think he only took one. We almost scored from it. So just put him on set pieces. That's my message.
Yeah, in terms of corners, De Bruyne is brutal, and Phil Foden is usually brutal as well. Who took the corner? Who took the corner that Haaland scored against United?
De Bruyne.
Do we know?
De Bruyne, because he's the normal guy. He takes that many that he's bound to get an assist from one of them every once in a while. But like, I've been calling for this for ages. I wanted someone different on set pieces for fucking ages because he kept me at the first man. He was doing me tits in.
Who took it? Do you know when Gomez was hitting volleys? Who were taking them?
Mahrez? I think he was on the pitch, or was he off the pitch?
Oh,
See, Mahrez was all right set pieces from the right because they used to be in swingers, and he was all right at dead, but he still is all right from because he still takes penalties and stuff. But like, we can't just keep him on just for set pieces. Like, there's another like 85 minutes where the ball is in open play.
yeah.
Curtis says, "Is there one particular person you want to give Grealish praise to? Toby." You know what, Curtis? I think Toby is starting to come around. I think Grealish is starting to win Toby over a little bit. Grealish off the ball work is one of the best, and it's annoying trying to explain that to someone who only wants to look at goals and assists. Listen, I've been banging that drum. I've been banging that fucking drum to the high heavens for months and months. That do not base your thoughts on Grealish off the statistics you see on your phone. Do not base your thoughts on that. He is a player you have to watch to appreciate, and you have to watch over a period of time. You can't just turn on your telly for 5 minutes and go, yeah, he's not great. And I look at his stats, he hasn't scored or assisted, he's not great. Particularly this season, definitely more so than last season. Last season, I won't give him the same praise as I will this season, but right now, he's looking great. I mean, I know he came on against Southampton the other day and didn't have the biggest influence on it, but I think there's a few things need to be in place for Grealish to flourish. I think Foden on the right definitely is one of them. Having Haaland in the middle definitely is one of them. Being given the freedom, playing with confidence definitely is one of them as well. But one of the big things I find with Grealish is if you want the best out of him, I think he needs to start the game. I think coming on as a substitute, Jack Grealish probably doesn't suit that role. I mean, he did a good job at it when he came on against Real Madrid when we lost in the Bernabeu. He nearly scored twice. Really, really fucking unlucky to not score either of them, and it would have brought us to a Champions League final. But I think he needs to start the game for Grealish to maybe grow into it. He seems to grow into games, through time. Sometimes he started really fast against Wolves. That's why he grew into it very quickly. But once he gets a few touches on the ball and he makes a few runs, you see him grow into it. You see by the 90th minute, Grealish doesn't want the game to end. He wants to keep playing because he's only getting better and stronger as the game went on. Like we saw it against Copenhagen, the guy was desperate for a goal. He deserved a goal against Copenhagen. He was deservedly man of the match, but the guy was absolutely brilliant.
You couldn't score in a brothel. Sorry.
He did it. He did everything.
He's good looking enough to score.
Hey, we're not having that conversation. Yeah, nope. I'm not going down that route with Jack Grealish. He deserved a goal. When Grealish gets full confidence to take absolutely anyone on, he'll be even better. He always looks bright taking players on. Well, that's something that he's added to or reinstalled into his program, if you like, this season that he was missing a bit last season, that he did have at Villa, which was taking on players and just being like, fuck it. I know I have the good enough dribbling ability to take players on. I have the pace. I have the control, whatever you want to be players. He has that, and he wasn't doing it last season. He is now, and we're seeing it. He's no longer hugging the touchline. Last season, he used to spend so much time really far out wide, hugging the touchline and just passing the ball back when he got it. Now he's actually starting to move inwards. He's starting to drift into the middle of the pitch. He's inverting, if you like, and he's picking the ball up along the halfway line, and he's surging through the middle of the pitch and then picking a pass, and it's really, really affecting the opposition. It's breaking down their structure, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do because you either take him down and concede a foul, and you start picking up bookings, yellow cards, and maybe red cards, or else you let him keep running. He's a really unique type of player, I think it's fair to say about Grealish.
Yeah, just wide, creative midfielder. Like, you think of wingers, you kind of think of head down, pace, run it, man. He doesn't do that. He's a Guardiola player in the sense of he's very slow, methodical, but it works out. It hasn't been working out, but it's worked out lately. Recently, it's really worked out because he's turning up. He's turning up and he's looking all the better. Again, I was thinking about the cows coming home. When someone's overlapping him, he's unstoppable. Unstoppable. That's why I think he looked so much better as well when Sergio Gomez played in the Manchester derby. I thought Grealish looked standout then.
No, absolutely agree with you. Hugh and Grealish are best friends. I wish me and Grealish were best friends. Curtis, is out wide his best position, or do you think a 10 or 8 role is the best like Villa? I think out wide can be his best position if he keeps growing into the way he's playing it now. I think we can see a new level of Jack Grealish that was even better than the Aston Villa Jack Grealish that people seem to love to romanticize about. If he keeps doing that thing where, like Rebel said, having the overlap and fullback, if that keeps going to plan, and then if he keeps moving into the field and making surging runs and picking on the ball and getting involved in build-up play and simply just finding the back of the net, he's starting to shoot more, and unfortunately for him, they're not really hitting the back of the net. He's come close a huge amount of times. Some great saves have stopped Jack Grealish scoring goals. He's unfortunate in that sense. I think he can continue to flourish out wide, but making it like his own version of a wide player. Phil Foden's a fantastic wide player on the right hand side, but Grealish is kind of doing a different role, which is why I believe the Grealish, Haaland, Foden front three is the best, because they all offer completely different things. But when you have Foden on the left and Mahrez on the right, they both cut in. And they offer the exact same thing, and they both turn back and pass to the fullbacks and the midfielders, and it kind of counteracts each other. Do you know what I mean? They kind of cancel each other out a little bit. So having 3 front 3 players who all offer completely different outlets to the team, it's absolutely massive, and it's really dangerous for any defence to have to deal with. He's unique. He costs £100 million. Renners, you're so fixated on that £100 million, man. Listen, what can he do, man? What can he do to fix that? He didn't.
If we turned around and put in a 70 million bid for Hussein Aouar, Renners would cream instantly. You know what I mean? He loves Hussein Aouar, and I've never seen Hussein Aouar play, but Renners loves certain players and loves to hate certain players. I love to dislike, maybe is a better word, certain players. I love to focus on negative parts of certain players. Like when he backed Sterling even though he was arse. How long was he arse for? Pushing 2 years?
Who?
Sterling, when we had him.
About 18 months, yeah.
About 18 months he was shy, right? And Reynolds backed him to the cows came home. But now Grealish is finding a bit of form. It's still, he costs 100 million. It costs 100 million. Give over, man. Just stop hating. And I say that's for me.
Listen, Grealish didn't ask to cost 100 million. City believed the 100 million was worth it, and I think it is. I think it's going to come good, and you'll realise why we paid that money for him. Why will anybody ever fully understand £100 million? No. Think about that. £100 million sterling. Is any one human being worth £1 million? No. Think about it. That's football. The game is so beyond us. It's outside of reality. It's lost touch with reality. The money in professional football at the highest level is outrageous, and he didn't ask for that. So you can't say it's his fault. That he hasn't lived up to £100 million. I think he's a really unique player, and he's only going to get better. What are we saying, Dennis? What?
You're worth $1 million to me.
Oh, thank you. Say
it back.
Fucking hell, lads. Shake up.
Say it back.
You're worth $1 million. You're worth $1 million too. You know what? Everybody who has hit the like button, you are worth $1 million. You're worth
more than $1 million.
If you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, you are worth $100 million. You're worth more than Jack Grealish if you're subscribed. So hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button to be worth more than Jack Grealish, to be worth millions.
You're worth everything to me already.
What?
You're worth everything to me already, lads. But listen to him anyway.
All right, you're pushing it now. Dennis, he was actually best out wide at Villa and mainly played out wide for the last few seasons before coming to City. But in our system, I think he'd be better in midfield, Curtis. Listen, people have their own opinions, and I think with him, just let him keep growing, let him keep developing. I think this front three we have growing of Grealish, Haaland, Foden we're on to a winner here, lads. We're on to something very special. Just keep letting them grow, keep letting them develop. Like, whilst Haaland is banging goals in every week, we may as well talk a bit about Haaland. We'll probably be live for another 10 minutes or so, people. So stay with us and hit the like button, subscribe, and keep talking in the chat. Let us know your thoughts on Haaland as well. While he is banging the goals is what I'm saying, he's still learning and developing. He's still finding his feet in our system. He's still getting used to the players around him. it's being masked by the fact that he's scoring an outrageous amount of goals, and his natural footballing and striker's instinct is getting him that. But he's only going to get better too. Erling Haaland is only going to get better when he really has a full, like, I remember before we signed him, I was always talking about that telepathic understanding that he will develop with the likes of De Bruyne and the other creative players, of where De Bruyne won't even have to look up to find where Haaland is. He just knows instinctively where Haaland's going to be. That's still going to come. That's still not there. There's still plenty of crosses flying into the box, into no man's land, or assuming he'll be on top of it, and he's not. There's still so much more to come, but you have to let them grow and develop together. So I'm kind of glad that Pep isn't chopping and changing the front three too much. Like, I didn't want Mahrez to start against Southampton. I know he played great in the end, or he wasn't bad in the end, but I want as much as possible to see Grealish, Haaland, Foden play all the time. They're three young guys. They can do it. They can take it. Haaland's going to get a break during the World Cup, so I don't see why not. Let them grow. Let them develop is what I'm saying. But what do we think? What did you guys think, Joe or Rel, of Haaland against Southampton? It looked a bit like the Wolves game and the Villa game for me. I know he scored in both of those as well, but he looked frustrated, and it was one of those days that wasn't working for him. But on the back end of it, he still got a goal.
He looked like he was trying. I know I said this for the Manchester derby, but he looked like he was trying to get involved a lot more. Like, he dropped a lot deeper, and I thought he's actually really. We looked really good in the counter. I thought we actually looked pretty dangerous on the counter. So when we were in the transition play, and Haaland was there was one time where a cross came up and it was going completely into no man's land, and he slide tackled it to keep it alive, to keep a counter attack going alive. He looked really good. He looked really good in that sense. His finishing left his finishing on the day left a lot to be desired. I thought he should have scored the one that he hit the post with. He definitely could have had another one, and of course he did score. So we could have had a hat-trick minimum. Again,
he's washed.
Right, shit, yeah, sell him, fuck him off. No more Erling Haaland, but he is, to say that he scored a goal, right? And still had a, do we say below par or less than stellar game? Like, you can't even really say that. To say that he scored a goal and we're still evidently disappointed that we're doing this little segment on it is fucking crazy, because it just shows how good he is and how good he's been. Because now that's 18 goal contributions in 9 Premier League games. That's unheard of. That shouldn't be real.
It's what is he on? 15 Premier League goals now?
15 goals, 3 assists.
Rory Jennings, 15 goals. Good Premier League season. Suck your mum.
Yeah. Suck your mum, Rory Jennings, man. Suck your mum. We've said this before. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Big up Awais. Good to see my man Awais in the chat. He says, big up, lads. Thank you, Awais. And the thing with Haaland is, it was another example, the Southampton game, of a team that decided they were going to really go all in on defending Haaland and trying to stop Haaland, and it didn't. It came back to bite them in the arse. Because, you know, other players chipped in with goals. It's now a case of, how do you stop Manchester City? I think naturally the world of football will be like, how do you stop Erling Haaland? If you stop Haaland, you know, you'll probably nullify City to some extent. But these games are just showing us now that when you nullify Haaland, he'll still probably score. And also we have so many players around the pitch who can chip in with goals too. So we're becoming a force that it's pretty scary, and a lot of people will find unfair. Get Rory on. I don't think Rory would ever come onto our channel.
I don't think Rory will come on after the 2 minutes clip. I only call him a dick. I usually tell him suck his mother. So like.
Foden and Haaland should start most games, with the other wing position should be rotated between Grealish and Alvarez, and Foden should be rotated with Palmer. I think you'll see Palmer get plenty of game time, similar to, probably a bit more than Rico Lewis, but he'll get game time. And on the wing thing, I want to see the same front three all the time. What do we think on the? Do you think you can rotate Grealish, or would you like to see him play all the time?
I'd like to see him play all the time. Again, walk into that symbiotic understanding that you're on about. But it's good to have room to rotate. Like, I think if there was an utterly needless game like match day 6 of a Champions League thing we've already got through, if he turns around, sets Palmer, Alvarez, and give me another left winger, Foden on the left, I really couldn't get it. I'm not going to cry over.
Yeah, but in the big games, I'd like to see.
Big games, Christ, no, big games. That is a set front three. You can't move from it, because it is the best performing thing. Again, you've said it's like a Swiss Army knife going forward. You have someone like Grealish who slows it down. He's like a wide midfielder. You have Foden, someone who runs at men. Then you have Haaland, who I don't know what he is. He just kicks the ball into the sack very well. It's pretty good. Like,
One Voice Man City, big up the man them. Big up you, One Voice Man City. Good to see you, my friend. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Lathabo says, with Haaland in the league, I completely forgot and disregarded the world-class striker Harry Kane. There's no words for Haaland anymore. I'm just enjoying having him in the team at this moment. Listen, we did a good stream. It was me, Joe, and Luke two, 3 nights ago about Haaland's alleged release clause. We talked all about that in depth. It's actually a pretty good stream. I enjoyed that conversation, but the thing, unfortunately for Harry Kane, who's actually had an outstanding start to the season, like Harry Kane is absolutely firing the season in a Tottenham team that's not creating many chances. Spurs are not really creative. They're lacking creativity, particularly in the midfield, and Harry Kane is still on 7 or 8 goals, which is pretty damn good in October. It's just unfortunate for that guy that Erling Haaland has doubled it. This is just a level above him in terms of finishing, and I had this argument, I think it was with Tobes on the Big Six a couple of weeks ago, who's a better finisher, Haaland or Kane, and he just backed Kane to the high heavens. And obviously I backed Haaland, but I still stand by it. I'd love to get some of your thoughts in the chat. Do you think Haaland or Kane's a better finisher? Tobes, like I said, thinks it's Harry Kane. Who's Rory? Rory Jennings. He's a Chelsea YouTube creator. Crazy to think City have won multiple leagues without Haaland, but now it's like City won't function without him. Blows my mind. Listen, with Haaland, anything is possible. Obviously, he is making it very vocal, lads. He's making it very vocal and public knowledge that he's desperate to win the Champions League. He doesn't seem to talk about winning the Premier League very often, Erling Haaland. He just talks about winning the Champions League. So hopefully he can guide us to a Champions League during his tenure at Manchester City. But listen, it's 5 to 12 here in Ireland. I've been up all day. I'm very tired, and I'm sure the two lads here are tired too. Rebel is tired and Joe is sick and probably wants to go to bed. But like I said, there's a lot of content coming this week. We're playing Copenhagen on Tuesday, so we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at some point. I would imagine the Big Six is at 10:30 tomorrow, so we might go live at like 8:30 or 9 or something and talk about Copenhagen for an hour. We'll be back tomorrow anyway with a stream, and then we'll start to look towards the City Liverpool game next Sunday. James Redmond is going to come on and preview that game. We'll probably do a combined 11 there like I did with Saeed too, and we'll have a chat. A lot to look forward to, people. Thank you all for coming in tonight. It was great to see all of you coming in as usual. I think we've passed 50 likes, but if you haven't done so already, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow to talk about the Copen away game. Good night and God bless.
Yeah. Oh, he said it. Copen away game. Right, that's the one.
Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start.